Hello, welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for this huge, intense and powerful full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is very significant. Eclipses are very powerful, as I spoke about in previous video when we had eclipse, total solar eclipse in Aries. Now we have a partial lunar eclipse in Scorpio, but it's very, very strong because this one is the last eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, in the eclipse cycle that has been active since the end of 2021, when this Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle started. So this one is the last one in the sign of Scorpio for the next 9 years, and it has a very long effect on us. It will be long-lasting. And the last time we had this same eclipse cycle, it was in the period of time between the end of 2002 and the middle and the end of 2005. So this period of time between the end of 2002 and the middle or the end of 2005, this was the same period when we had same themes happening in our life, same big transformations, similar lessons and big events. And also the period of time between the end of 2012 and the end of 2014. So these two periods of times, let's think about it. What big transformations were happening back then in our lives? What big lessons we've been going through, because this will be felt now again. Lessons that we have missed, lessons that we have skipped steps will have to be repeated in some way. Or people and relationships that we've been experiencing in those times, they may be repeated now as well. Doesn't have to be in the same way. Of course, it cannot be in the same way because we've changed, and these eclipses are always reminding us to see how much we have grown and evolved since then. But Scorpio, very strong, and this one happens on the 5th of May. And it's, as I said, it's a storyline. It's not something new. It's something that we've already been introduced to. It's something that we are familiar with. So it's a storyline that started somewhere around the end of 2021, and now it continues and it reaches the culmination point now. This is full moon eclipse in Scorpio. So it's, last time I said it's like 10 times full moons, but this one is very strong, even stronger than 10 times full moon, because we have full moon lunar eclipse. It's in Scorpio and it's next to the south node, and I will speak about that through this video, about the south node eclipse, what it means. But now I just want to explain that this will touch the deepest depths of our psyche, those places that are impersonal, our subconsciousness, the places that we cannot really reach so easy. So this will be very strong when it comes to letting go of old habits, letting go of people, letting go of needs, of routines, of attachments, letting go of addictions that have reached their level of fullness, that have served us, and now it's time to just let it go once and for all. This is like a final and ultimate goodbye to something. There will be a sense of loss, and we will be reminded about the importance of dealing with that and accepting it as part of life too, and not suppressing it. So it's a lot about shadow work. Scorpio is shadow work. Eclipses trigger shadow work. So for all of us collectively, this will be a very strong lesson for shadow work, for working on ourselves, for working with our awareness, being aware and knowing what to do with our awareness. So this is a profound change, a soul growth theme. It's a call of our soul to reconnect with ourselves. It's transformation. It's about us being able to change, not resisting changes. These full moons and eclipses bring things to light, things that have been hidden, things that have been in the darkness, things that we've been suppressing, denying, avoiding, are now bubbling up. So it's a boiling water energy. Scorpio is water sign, so something is boiling and we may feel like we are bursting. So we are going to expose, to feel exposed, and we have to express something, and we may have to face our own demons, and our demons are actually shadows being expressed and exposed. So when we express our shadow, we face our demons, and this is the ability and the chance to really work with those energies, to transform them, to create the alchemy, to awaken the inner alchemists within ourselves, to purge that fire, to go through that purging fire, to allow it to burn us, to burn that karma. As I said in previous video, this is a time of huge, massive karmic releases. It really is, and it forces us to confront our demons, our own shadows, and to look at ourselves in that ugly mirror, and to maybe break some mirrors too, so that we can see things more clearly. And this energy really asks us to bare our soul and to face the truth of the matter, even if it makes us feel very uncomfortable, which it probably will. But this is where the treasure lies. We are discovering that hidden treasure. As I say many times in my videos, in all those fairy tales, in all stories and mythologies and folklore, we know that if there is a person searching for the hidden treasure, that treasure is always hidden very far away across the 7 seas, 7 hills, very huge obstacles on the way. And when we finally reach that cave where the treasure is, there is a big dragon or a big monster keeping this treasure. So we have to face that monster in order to reach that inner essential place of ourselves, to find that treasure, to find our inner treasure. We have to face our inner demons, and the path and the journey is long and full of obstacles. But now this eclipse takes us directly to that cave, directly to the monster that we have to face. And we are revealing great secrets now. We are revealing secrets and lies. Scorpio is about secrets and mysteries. And Mercury is now retrograde during this time. Pluto is also retrograde. Pluto just entered. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, of this eclipse, the modern ruler. The ancient ruler is Mars. I will talk about that too. But Pluto just entered Aquarius, and it stationed retrograde on the 1st of May. And it will be moving backwards toward Capricorn, where it was during the last 15 years. So this is a necessary and inevitable our way to look at our past, to look within, to turn within, to have to process our emotions and thoughts in a very deep and profound way, to face the power struggles. This is about power struggles. Scorpio is power struggles. You know, to create soulful bonds, to release the sticky karma, because karma is very sticky. And this is intriguing energy of betrayal and loss of trust, because Scorpio is very much about this betrayal and mistrust and feeling exposure and corruption and manipulation and abandonment and feelings of loss. These themes will be strong, but these things actually always lead us towards this inner treasure. This is our guidance. These are our helpers on the path. So we may hear some glasses breaking, and actually we may break things, and it's good during the eclipses, if you didn't know. If we break things accidentally, if we break a glass, a plate, or something else, whatever we break during this time, it's very good, because it means that we have allowed something to be broken. We have allowed something to be gone. So we are saying goodbye to something, and we may feel a great burden falling off of our chests, and it will be a great feeling of relief and release. But first we may have to experience that dramatic impulse, that tension, and glasses may break while we are cleaning them too. Our inner glass, as I said, the mirrors are cracking and breaking, and we may see things through the glass. You know, but when it breaks, we may see it even more clearly. And this eclipse is very shamanic energy. It's shedding of our old skin, We have to shed our skin. We have to transform. Scorpio is Phoenix rising from the ashes. So we are now dying and going through the rebirth. Rebirth means that first death has to happen so that we can be reborn. Just as the sun rises every day, it also has to descend and to set in order for it to be reborn again. So we are now going through some process of being reborn and transformed. So let's not be afraid. Let's accept it. Trust the process. This is the great message of this time. And this is very much teaching us about how to accept things that we don't like, accept reality when it doesn't happen in the way that we want it to, accept things when they unfold in the way that we haven't planned them. Mercury is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde, and things may not go as we have planned them. So most of our suffering actually comes when we don't accept things because they don't happen in the way we imagined them that they have to happen. So we may feel as those, metal balls are hooked around our legs and necks, and it may feel heavy and sticky, as I said, but this is when the energy, when the veils between worlds are thin and spirits visit us in our dreams, but spirits visit us all the time. And we are now reconnecting with the spirit, and the whole universe works so that we can experience it. This is something that we have to become aware of too. The whole universe works for us so that we can breathe, live, and experience this life. The whole universe sets this stage for us. This is the great theater, actually. Our life is a theater, and we are actors in it. As it is said in ancient teachings, Mayas, Incas, Aztecs, this life is a dream. It's an illusion, but it doesn't mean that it's not that it's not really real. It only means that it's not as it appears to be. Our perception and our senses are tricky, and we believe what we want to believe in, and we see things as we believe that they are. So if this is a dream, and if it's hard for us to wake up, let's at least make this dream a beautiful dream. We don't have to live in a nightmare, and we can break through these curtains of illusions and the veils. We can break through, and we can see through the glass. We can see through those illusions now, and we can see the reality. But we are also waking up from the nightmare. We are waking up from the nightmare, and we are able to create the most beautiful dream that we want. Like in the sleep, in the dream, when we realize that we are in dream, in that moment we can create the reality as we want it to. We can create the dream. So this is the message of this energy. And the retrograde Mercury is in opposition to this full moon in Scorpio eclipse. It's in Taurus right now, next to Uranus and the Sun. And it's very important because these are sudden insights, sudden, unexpected messages that remind us of how powerful we actually are, and what is all that we can do. So it's a reminder that life didn't happen accidentally. Life cannot happen just like an accident. There is a divine intelligence in everything. Everything is perfectly designed and created. And as I always say, life doesn't make mistakes. Our perception may be different and wrong. So when we perceive things from our own subjective mind, we think that, oh, this was a mistake. Oh, look, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Why is this always happening to me? Why am I always like this or that? And we think that life is against us. Life is never against us. Nothing is ever against us. Life cannot be against us. Life is always helping us. It's generating a reality for us so that we can read through it. It's an open book for us. And this is energy of life and death. Taurus and Scorpio. Whenever we have full moon, it means that the moon is in one sign and the sun is in its opposite sign. So this is Taurus-Scorpio polarity. So it's life and death. Life is Taurus, death is Scorpio. Simplicity and complexity. Taurus is simplicity, Scorpio is complexity. Venus and Mars. Venus is Taurus is ruled by Venus, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So this is strong masculine and feminine energy. Peace and war. Peace, Taurus, war, Scorpio. Of course, this is not black and white, but these are archetypal symbols that need to be understood. What we are now going through, we feel this push and pull within ourselves and in our projected reality that we are now experiencing. Cure and poison, self-care and masochism, kindness and violence, groundedness and chaos, me and we, mine and ours, my money and our money, my values and shared values, shared resources, also Scorpio. So what is mine and what is yours and what is ours, what belongs to me and what belongs to you, what have we agreed to belongs to us. These themes will be strong in our intimate relationships, in business relationships, and this is exciting journey of self-discovery. So let's take this cosmic ride. Let's enter this train because it's inviting us. And when we came into this world, we took a round trip ticket because we have to come back to the source. We are just going through this journey, and let's enjoy it with all its ups and downs, with all the variations of all possibilities. And our chart, our natal chart, is actually our ticket. It's our map, and it's guiding us where we need to be. And we gave a promise to ourselves when we entered this journey that we keep in our subconscious realm, a promise that we will remember who we truly are. So this whole life is about us remembering who we are. And it's a dream, and we forgot it's a dream. So now we have to remember that also a poison can be a cure, and a cure can be a poison if we take too much of each. So let's look deep inside and ask ourselves these powerful things about: why do I need to protect myself? Why do I need to blame others? Why do I have to protect this identity so strongly? We have to practice from within. Are we protecting our identity and our beliefs that are strongly attached to this identity? Why am I so attached to how am I seeing myself and the world? And this can shift us from one state of consciousness to the next. And this sudden change can happen now. Uranus is in game. As I said, it's in Taurus, and it's opposing this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So sudden and unexpected dramatic changes can happen. And eclipses are very, very well known for, major beginnings and endings, life-changing events, life-changing circumstances, meetings, conversations, separations, reconnections, divorces and marriages, children, making babies, things that completely change the direction of our life, career changes, journeys that completely change us from the inside out. So this is allowing us to release the past. We have to release the past. It's done. We are done with something for good. And this is dramatic, as I said, and eclipses are doing things that take out something from our life so that something new can enter, so that we can have that inner insight that changes our structure of our being, changes the structure of our perception. So something is eclipsed out, something is eclipsed in, so that we can be eclipsed within. And this is what is meant for us stays with us. What has done its job is leaving our world. And these are things that are meant to be, fated and destined events, things that we cannot avoid, things that are written in the stone. There is karma that is written in the sand, and there is karma that is written in the stone. So most of the things we can change, but there are some things that are just out of our control, that we just have to accept, that we have to trust. This is where our soul arrangements come into play, and we have to accept these things, these changes. These are things that we have to let go and surrender. This is one of those times. And Scorpio themes are all about things that we are afraid of, things that we don't want to talk about, things that we'd rather hide, things we are ashamed of, things that we keep buried deep within ourselves, things that we keep private, things that we don't say out of politeness. These are taboo themes, things that others don't dare to talk about, places we don't dare to go to, things that we do behind closed doors, our privacy and intimacy, unconscious desires, unconscious attachments, things that we do when no one is watching, things that we do behind closed doors. And so the question is, what do we do? What would we do if nobody was watching us? How would we behave? Are we pretending? What's eating me? What's eating you? What's eating us? Where did it go wrong? Where did I get it wrong? What went wrong? And how can I reconnect with myself and with the spirit? And understanding that what is truly mine can never leave me. What is truly mine, what truly belongs to me can never leave me. So the question is, what is really me? Who am I? Spirit cannot be attached. Spirit is free. And we are spiritual beings. So the question is, what is attached to things and people then, if it's not spirit? Which part of us is attached? That's a good question. If spirit cannot be attached, what part of us then is attached? And it's also a great time to remember the power of silence, and to know that oversharing and exposing ourselves too much can quickly take away our power and energy. When we tell more than we should, and when we share more than we should have, then we lose that energy and we quickly feel exhausted. So this is a powerful time to remember the power of silence, actually. And also to ask ourselves, do we do things because we want attention? Or do we do things because we want revelation and liberation? What is it that we want more? Do we want more attention, or do we want more revelation and liberation? So also, can we move in the silence? Can we dance in the silence? Can we observe things without commenting them? Can we do things without our need to show what we have done? Do we have a need to constantly show what we have done and what we have achieved? Can we just do things and enjoy the action itself? Can we dance in the silence? Can we dance with our shadows? Can we recognize our light through the shapes that shadow creates with the light? Shadow cannot exist without light. This is also very important to know. So we are walking on the edge right now, and we are remembering that we are the present moment. I am the present moment. You are the present moment. We are the present moment. So let's not get lost in the labyrinths of the past. Let's not get lost in the maze of the past. But even if we find ourselves lost in that maze, it's enough just to remember to trust the process and to trust ourselves. It's just enough to remember to embrace it all. And in that moment, that maze loses its power and we see the exit sign. We find it. So we are being asked, where are we escaping to in order to feel safe? Taurus is about feeling safe and stable. We need that comfort zone. But Uranus is in Taurus, and Mercury retrograde right now in Taurus, and the Sun is also in Taurus, and the North Node is in Taurus. So there is huge energy in Taurus asking us to feel safe, to find that anchor, to find that stability point, to build something strong and long-lasting. But on the other side, we have Scorpio full moon breaking things down, tearing them apart, and pushing us out of our comfort zone. We are thrown out of those places that we have been escaping to. We are being thrown out, and we may feel homeless. But it's good to feel that way, and we may actually realize that we have always been homeless. We have only been creating an illusion of feeling safe. these comfort zones can actually be very dangerous if we stay too long in that space. There is nothing that is too fixed in life. Life is about changes. It's a wild river flow. So it needs to flow. It needs to change. Things need to change. And if we stay stuck in one and the same routine or habit or comfort zone, then this is seen as something dead, something that is not moving, so it's dead. It is lifeless. So we have to make that water running, and something needs to be destroyed. Something definitely needs to be destroyed if we want the creation to happen. So maybe we've been hiding, and now something happens that is out of our control, that pushes us out of our comfort zone. And the question is, are we moving only in those fields of life where we know we are good at, where we feel confident and self-assured? Are we only living in that small piece, small field and territory that is known to us, that is familiar, that we know that we are good there, so that we avoid things that are unknown, that may actually be much better for us? So have we completely neglected things that scare us and that make us feel vulnerable, exposed, and challenged? Well, some of those things will need our attention now. And also, it's very good to see if we can look at this life as a part, as a great theater, as I said, as the stage. And what if we can see everything as a part of the game? And what if we can perceive things in our lives as part of that play? So let's release that need for control and surrender to the power of not knowing. This is the wisdom of this eclipse. The best journey is the spontaneous one. And also is a reminder for us that the only journey that there is in this life is the journey to the self. And the only battle that there is in life is the battle with oneself. Everything else, all other journeys, all other battles, everything is just an imitation, a projection of those inner battles that are helping us to recognize where we are with ourselves. So look back on where we were and what have we've been doing in these last couple of months, and especially since the end of 2021. There is a storyline that it's packed in these cycles of eclipses, and there is some revealing light that is happening. We are discovering something. This eclipse is a form of spiritual purging in our life, and it pulls us in directions where we are fated to be. It can lead us to a very great place if we don't resist. But when we resist, we delay the process of breaking through something, and we prolong the pain when we resist. And this eclipse could actually really trigger a huge inner revolution because of this Uranus in the game. Huge inner revolution. And although we may feel lost in the Hall of Mirrors, it doesn't matter. We definitely have to feel lost sometimes. We need to recognize the presence of the spirit right where we are, instead of running away from the body, running away from ourselves into the eternal bliss. This is not why we are here. Everything is embedded in the spirit, and it emanates from it. So it's important to know that intuition doesn't have a shadow. So we are now reconnecting with that intuition, but we have to walk through the shadow to dance with our shadow. So shadow doesn't want the transformation. Shadow resists. So the question is again, who resists and who gets attached if we are not the shadow? Shadow is a necessary part. It's our tool for awakening. But the question is, who resists and who is attached if we are not the shadow, if we are actually essentially the spirit? These kinds of questions help us refocus our perception, change our way of seeing things. And this eclipse reveals our shadow. It's about letting go of our stories, It's about being free from all old stories we've been told. And the questions are, who am I when I'm not pretending? When I'm not being polite and kind just because I have to be. When I don't have to behave in a certain way, in a civilized way. When I don't have to be structured. Who am I when I'm raw, wild being? We may see this wild behavior during this time. This is Scorpio. It's wild river, drunk cosmic river that moves in a serpentine way. Serpents, snakes, Scorpio related to that energy very much. And serpents and snakes and DNA, the spirals, it all has the same shape, and the matter and energy, Taurus and Scorpio. So the opposite to matter is not the spirit, it's energy, and matter and energy create the horizontal line and X of our life. So matter and energy, Taurus and Scorpio, life and death. And this is teaching us to see through our fears, and it's a reminder that we can become whole if we deny and avoid the void. If we avoid the void, we become the void. So it's also the reminder to accept this void, to dance with it, as I said, dance in the silence, dance with the shadow. Recognize the dance between the light and the dark that creates the shadow. And we may see all kinds of things. Shadows are tricky, as we know. If we look at our shadow on the wall, it changes quickly. The shape changes quickly, and we may see something that is not really there. And we may see a shape that is not real also. So this is tricky realm and reality, and this eclipse will also show us things that may have been confusing. Things that we've been believing in are now turning to be not real. So we may be faced with things that we've been led to believe are real, and now we see that they haven't been real. And we all carry darkness within ourselves, but we pretend that we don't have it. Or there are other extremes where people keep their darkness on the throne. It's like their identity. I'm dark, and that's the way I am. So we have these extremes now showing up, but it's now time to rise above the duality. We can have, each eclipse is giving us a chance to overcome those strong attachments and identities. We identify with those things, and then we believe that we are like this or like that, but we are not like this or like that. We can be everything, the myriad of things. The crown chakra has 1,000 petals, so the 1,000 petals is manifesting from one chakra. So from one being manifests myriad of things. So we are many, many, many different things. We have many different personalities as well, but we stay attached to one because we think we are like this or like that, and we cannot change. And we resist these changes, and that's why we suffer. We divide things. We think we are separate from others. We are so special. Oh, I'm so special. I'm like this. I'm different than you. No, you don't understand me. This kind of perception puts us into the suffering, and it drowns us into those wild rivers, the muddy waters, the murky waters. So it's time to clear the water, to clear the path, to walk through that purging fire, to swim, to dive deep into those cosmic rivers, and to be led by those serpentines without our need to resist. What happens if we resist the water flow? We drown. So let's not resist, let's just walk with it, swim with it, fly with it. And we want to believe that we are always innocent, good, and on top of the task. We have hard time admitting that we did something wrong. But of course, Nothing is wrong. Everything is there to serve the purpose, but we may have that need to deny something and to say, no, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. We are not taking responsibility. We don't want to take responsibility. It's easier to blame circumstances, to blame life, to blame the childhood, to blame parents, to blame the school, to blame the system, to blame authorities, to blame partners, to blame financial system. It's much easier to do that, but this eclipse reminds us to take this other path that is less walked, the path to the spirit, where we take 100% responsibility of ourselves, and to understand that we all have dark corners within ourselves, and dark thoughts and feelings and states that we don't express, that we shut down, that we suppress and deny. We push these things down. We don't want to deal with our mess. But remember, mess is not the cause of stress. Mess is our need for happiness, and our need for happiness is what pushes us into the denial of the mess. So mess helps us to put us in the order. So it's not so bad, but it's bad if we indulge ourselves into it, if we identify ourselves with it, instead of just witnessing, experiencing, seeing things as guiding tools on our journey. We need night just as much as we need day. So we have to be capable of living as a whole, not just bits of life. We only collect those little pieces of life that bring happiness. But what about the rest of life? We are learning to see in the dark now and to live life as a whole. When we deny life as a whole, then we have troubles. So we need to remember our ancient selves. It's about regeneration and recovery. This energy is teaching us how to die and how to be born again. So we are not supposed to understand everything. Life is not supposed to make sense all the time. And when things don't make sense, we get angry with life. Let's allow ourselves to be lost sometimes. We don't have to know it all and to have it all. We also have to know that we cannot always get it all in the way we want it. Things don't have to work always in the way we want them to. So who do we turn into when things go in a way we didn't plan them to? That's a very good question. What happens in us when things don't go in the way we want them to? And why do we struggle so much to make things go in a way we want them to? Why don't we just trust life? We have trouble with trust. We have trust issues. We don't trust ourselves and we don't trust life. We don't trust others. So who do we trust then? And how can we live without trust? We suffer because we want things in our way. So this is a very good reminder of that. And it's also good to know that meditation is about waking up to our true nature. It isn't necessarily made to make us feel better about ourselves, to make us be happy all the time. It's initially there to wake us up to our true nature. And it's a whole lifestyle that has to be lived day to day. As I said in previous video, it's something that we have to do daily if we want to work on ourselves, if we want to live a fulfilled life, to breathe with full lungs. This has to be lived day to day for it to be effective. So we cannot just do it by reading books. We cannot reach that state if we just meditate. We cannot do it if we just listen to lectures and read stories. We have to do the work, actually. We have to live that life. We have to apply the learned lessons. So awakening and spirituality are mainly trivialized. they are turned into a big commercial, and it's working because we are all hungry for this. We are all hungry for the spirit. We are all hungry for being present. And I just remembered, I don't know if you've heard of, probably many of you have heard of Ho'oponopono. This is Hawaii, from Hawaii, a technique from Hawaii, and there are four main points there that this teaching is talking about. And there was a story. I mean, it's not a story, it's a real thing that happened. The guy who is doing Ho'oponopono, I forgot his name, he went into a mental institution or some hospital with criminals who had mental disabilities. And he was there for a couple of years, I think 4 years, but these were highly, really problematic and insane people with many mental issues. So what he was doing, he was actually asking all the time. He was not communicating with those people. He managed in 4 years to create a completely different situation there, so that they had to close the hospital. Everyone was fine after these 4 years, everyone, and there were many people there, over a couple of hundreds. So what was he doing? He was asking, what is not right with me, so I'm seeing and witnessing this madness? You know, he wasn't dealing with their madness. He did that work by healing himself, because this is based on a teaching that says that whatever we see, if it's in our reality, it's a projection from our own inner world. So how he managed to control that situation and to heal those people there is by asking himself every day and working on healing himself. What is not right with me, so I'm seeing and witnessing this madness? So we are now clearing our lenses, clearing, cleaning, cleansing, and healing our perception, our filters through which we are looking at. And, you know, he was asked, like, how did you do it? So he said, I was simply healing that part of me that created them. And this is also very good to just to have it somewhere in ourselves to remember. So I was simply healing that part of me that created them. And it's a good reminder that demons are personifications of our fears. So they represent whatever problems we have with inner conflicts, negative emotions, illness, obsessions, recurring issues, repetitive patterns. It's making us aware of what we are denying and repressing. It's not something that is against us again. These things are helping us. So when we resist these fears and demons, they only get stronger. So the more we run, the harder they try to get our attention. So they represent actually a wake-up call and an opportunity to become more whole. As I said, learning to live life as a whole. And it's actually all about our hopes and desires, because they are very much connected, hopes and desires and fears. We have hopes because we have fears, and hopes and fears are closely related and can't exist without each other, actually. So things that we long for, that we see as positive, instead of enjoying them, we become too attached to them. And this is when issues begin to manifest. When instead of enjoying things that we want and that we desire, we get too attached to them. And then we are scared to death of losing those things. So, you know, it's really now understanding that we have to detach, we have to let go, we have to learn to deal with some kind of loss. And this is, as I said, south node and north node. And south node, as I said in previous video, is known as Ketu, the tail of the dragon. And north node is known as Rahu in Vedic astrology, and it's the head of the dragon. So the north node and south node are always in the opposition. They are our karmic points, that because of these points we are born. They keep the balance of our life and death, of the ending and of the beginning. And this is south node. South node is the tail, so it's the past. It's the things that we are attached to strongly, things that we hold on to. And now we have Taurus and Scorpio, and north node in Taurus and south node in Scorpio, and both Taurus and Scorpio are strongly holding on to things, don't want to let go, fixed signs, earth and water, but they are combined in a good way. Earth carries water, earth and water together create life. This is the womb. So we are now going through the womb and being rebirthed, but we have to let go of that tail of the dragon, and we have to walk towards that, towards the future of ourselves. So we are learning how to deal with our past, but without staying in the past. And we may actually see that we are living in the past all the time. All our life we are so much attached to our past. So it's very good time to work on that present moment, but not as a present tense, but as ourselves being present with what we are experiencing, not running away from things, not escaping, being present. And actually the word demon used to be called daimon. Daimon means guiding spirit, and it was generally seen as a positive thing because it teaches us. So our daimon is our higher self, and it's guiding us on the path to awakening. And it's also related to diamond. So let's not be afraid of these things. And let's know our demons, they cannot die, no matter how hard we fight them. So we have to sit with those uncomfortable emotions, not pushing them aside, not pushing them down, not suppressing them. Because as harder we suppress, the harder they resist. So when they come up, they will be explosive and very dangerous. So the harder we resist, the stronger they come back. So this is a great reminder. And our shadow is everything that we deny, everything that we don't like, everything that we are disgusted by, everything we are ashamed of, everything that we don't want to see, everything we are silent about, everything that somehow triggers us in a negative way, everything that we don't want to deal with, everything that we say, no, that doesn't interest me, I don't want to see it, I don't want to deal with it. All of those things are accumulated as our shadow within ourselves, and then the shadow becomes bigger, and it grows very big, and it overgrows us, and then it starts consuming us because we have allowed ourselves to deny all those parts of ourselves. And it's now time, we will see things that we haven't thought about for a long time. They will need our attention, and it's time to take out the trash. As always with Scorpio energy, especially in the eclipse time, it's time to take out the trash. And when Moon is in Scorpio, it's in its fall. Moon is exalted in Taurus, but it's in its fall in Scorpio. And the ruler of this lunar eclipse is Mars, and Mars is where? In Cancer, and it's also in its fall. So we have these two very important energies, Moon and Mars, both in its fall. So it can be very dramatic, but very liberating, because they will be collaborating actually. They are collaborating and they are willing to help each other. But this energy can also be felt as, two blind men trying to lead each other. One is blind and the other is blind, and they are both trying to guide each other. So it's a time to just understand that some things cannot go as we want them to. And things are coming from the inside now. It's an inside job, and this is a revelation of the inner power. Scorpio and Pluto, it's about the power. And it's a lot about our need for control. So where do we have this strong need for control? And this is mysterious and mystical energy too. It's about the occult things, the hidden things. And collectively, we may see many things being exposed in the next 6 months, because eclipses are felt weeks before and weeks after their exact date, but their influence is strong for 6 months. And the next eclipse, and the final one in this whole eclipse cycle of Taurus and Scorpio, will happen in late October of this year, 2023. So there will be a closing line, but that one is very different than this one. This one is South Node, so it's about our tails, things that we drag, things that we hold on to, things that we don't want to let go of, things that we don't want to change. But, as I said before, these things now that happen are meant to be destined, fated, so they will turn out to be much better than we thought. They will turn out to be things that we have actually wanted and desired. It's what our soul desires, not maybe from this life, but from many different lifetimes. It's about our soul desires. It's a call from the soul, and the need of the body and the need of the soul, so the balance between these two. And we are being asked, what are we addicted to? What are we attached to? And this is emotional healing, very much emotional, very strong emotional healing, emotional endings and beginnings too, and us learning to deal with loss. We are all going to deal with some kind of loss, and this can be we are saying goodbye to either people or ideas or beliefs or past attachments or some very strong patterns that we've been manifesting over and over. We are recognizing what is toxic for us. We are being led on the path of the alchemist, as I said in the beginning. So awakening the inner alchemist and answering to that soul call to recognize that something is toxic for us and that we have to just let it out, to burn it, to take it out. So what needs to go, what needs to be purged? It's making us realize what we have to let go. Something is coming up from the past, and it may be a surprise, even though we are familiar with it. So it's kind of something that we knew, but we will anyway be surprised by it, because Uranus is about surprises and awakenings and shocks and sudden realizations. But this eclipse is not new theme, it's something we've already been involved with. So it will be a surprise, but something that we already knew, something we are familiar with. So it's also a great opportunity for us to walk away from any situation or relationship or circumstance, from some really bad situation that we should have left months ago, years ago, lives ago, but we didn't. We stayed, we justified it, we wanted to sacrifice ourselves, and we sacrificed ourselves. But now it's time to just say goodbye to it. The universe and life will create situation that will just say it's over, no more. So this can be anything. It can be, as I said, a career, financial situation, family situation, intimate relationship, business partnership, health situation, anything big and key, of key importance. So it's very good to be gentle with ourselves and with others too. It's eclipse that brings some crisis, but we will get through it. Of course, And we've already been through this. We've survived it already. We've already been through it. So, of course, this won't be so life-changing for everyone, but it will have a huge collective influence, and we may witness these big changes happening in lives of those close to us too. It doesn't have to happen directly to us. It may be happening in lives of those who are close to us, so it may also affect us in a strong way. But those of us who have personal planets around 15 degrees of fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, we will feel it the most. And there are very, very strict signs that will be talking to us right now. And as I said, the more we try to hold on to things that are changing, the more pain it will cause. So it's time to bury something, definitely, to just, say for good, it's gone. So these are themes of love and loss, and our insecurities and need for securities and resistance to changes. And we may be actually attached to suffering and intensity, even though this sounds like impossible. Like, why would I be attached to suffering? That's insane. But actually, this is what we unconsciously create, because these energies create a high tolerance to chaos, a high tolerance to pain. And there is then an unconscious attraction to that. And we are unconsciously seeking the chaos, unconsciously seeking drama and dramatic circumstances. So we are now revealing these things, the hidden reality, the mysterious, the hidden aspects of ourselves. We have the capacity to understand difficulties of life, capacity to understand the hidden part of ourselves. This is the energy of Phoenix rising from the ashes. And this is a constant cycle of decay and destruction, of letting go and at the same time creating and building something. It's regeneration and transformation. It's alchemy. And I spoke about this a lot in the book The Age of Aquarius, which I highly recommend, that actually the matter, Taurus, matter in the universe is nothing but two condensed spiral energy, Scorpio. These oppositions are always one and the same things, just different degrees of it. And energy in the universe is nothing but broken matter. So they are one and the same thing. And these eclipses, as I always say, reminds us that nothing is ever truly lost. It's only transformed. So this is energy lives in matter. So matter without energy is dry. It's dead. And energy without matter is nothing. So energy is a cosmic river. And cosmic rivers travel in a crazy way. So these rivers flow and move as snakes. This is Kundalini energy, the coiled serpent at the bottom of our spine, Scorpio. And Scorpio is multi-layered and mystical sign connected with Kundalini energy, and its first lowest expression represents a coiled serpent at the bottom of the spine. This is asleep Kundalini. This is our power that needs to be awakened. The second stage is eagle, and it represents the energy of an awakened Kundalini, which goes up through the spine and reaches the crown chakra. And the third stage is Phoenix, and its resurrection, its rebirth, its opening of the crown chakra, and its self-realization and self-mastery. So Scorpio became an eagle when Scorpio matured and evolved and learned how to control its lower nature, how to use its traits. Eagle is able to heal himself through the pain and hurt instead of attacking and poisoning himself and others due to the pain he feels. So eagle won't allow resentment and anger to destroy his life. This is the higher octave of Scorpio, alchemy and transmutation. From creeping on the ground to elevating ourselves to the heights of the sky, from Scorpion stage to the Eagle stage. And Eagle is not the ultimate expression of the Scorpio. Eagle can still strike, but Phoenix is the reborn and transcended aspect of Scorpio, and it's the fiery energy. So we are moving in that direction, and this is time to learn more about our true nature, to unlearn things that we have learned that are just dry knowledge, that has no life in it. We need some nectar of life in this life. We are the nectar, we are the present moment, we are the spirit, but we are also the body. So let's not escape from our dark corners, from the shadows. Let's embrace those things in a beautiful way. We have potential for emotional catharsis now. This is energy of emotional healing, of explosiveness, as I said, water boiling kind of feeling, and it's emotional volatility. So it's a potential for conflict as well, and it has strong emotional reactivity with related to emotional bonds and family karma, and these are meaningful, profound, deep connections with others, and these connections will be tested and deepened and challenged and intensified. So this is a willingness to cooperate with ourselves and with others, with our darkness, with our shadow, and we may face some paranoid thoughts and feelings too, but this is helping us to recognize those patterns. So we are aware now of some things. We are much more aware. We have greater clarity about ourselves and our behavior, especially in situations, as I said, when things don't go as we have planned them to. So something needs to be emptied with this South Node eclipse. Something needs to be emptied, and there is sense of loss, and we are releasing old things. We are shedding our old skin, and we are emptying our cups. We are emptying ourselves, not avoiding the void. We are confronting the mortality of ourselves. We are confronting our own demons and realizing that they are actually guiding us. So these are revolutionary qualities, unexpected, and what's culminating right now in our life, it will be very, very strong, and these culminations will show us where have we been denying, neglecting, and avoiding and suppressing things. So these energies have energy of underneath earthquakes that happen under the layer of the visible reality. So something that has been hidden is now about to explode. These are strong emotional convictions too. And what am I trying to protect? What am I standing up for? These are also emotional sacrifices and gestures. We have Venus square Neptune, we have Sun with Uranus, we have Jupiter square Pluto. These are very strong energies. This is the shadow of our existence, and it's the clarity about what's sacred to us. And I have to check out one quote that I have saved for this. Let me just find it. There is one great quote. Yes, I found it. I will read it now. It says, "Do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come?" This is very great quote for this time, because we may feel as our life has been completely turned upside down. So I will read it once again. "Do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come?" I think this is perfect for finishing this eclipse forecast. And I also remind you to go and check out our moonomens.com website. check out the article, because there will be a great article about this eclipse where there will probably be some more detailed information where you can connect the dots and get the great bigger picture together with this video and with that article. Article is written by our great astrologer Lucrezia, and the website is beautiful to search through, to investigate it, to walk through it, to just enjoy the content of it and check out the material that is there. And also I highly recommend you go and see our new material that we have, and it's crystal articles, the section where we have articles about crystals, and we just published one about malachite. So I highly recommend you go there. There will be more. It's very in-depth, it's beautiful, it's with guided meditations. So anyone who wants to dive deep into crystals and the wisdoms of everything that is part of us too, I highly suggest you go there and research it. I love you all and see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.